Hey y'all, welcome back to Adventuring with Amanda. Thank you so much for being here. If you are new to my channel, welcome. Thank you so much for watching. We are on part 2 of what you need to know about camping in the desert. If you didn't catch part 1, be sure to check it out. I answer a lot of questions, but this video will piggyback on some of the comments that were made and some other things I thought about. So let's get into it. In part 1 of my video, I talk about how to make shade because oftentimes in the desert there aren't trees, but I did come across this lone tree that gives me quite a bit of shade. So I parked near it, which is very helpful. Now there is a lot of trash on the ground, so like old beer cans and things, so I'm going to go ahead and pick it up because I always like to leave my campsite cleaner than how I found it. And currently I also have my Jackery charging my little USB fan by Winston's bed to help keep the flies away from him. I did talk about hats, eye protection, and sunscreen in my first video, but this is my favorite hat for wearing in the desert because it has kind of the wide brim and it protects my entire head and face. So I really like to use this one. It was like $20 on Amazon. It's even adjustable, so when it's windy, it can still stay on your head, which is super excellent for the desert wind. The sunscreen that I use on my face is Bear Republic. It's SPF 100. I like it because it's not greasy, and I purchased it at Target. Hi, bub. So I really like this sunscreen. Again, it's important to protect your face because you will absolutely get burned in the desert, even during the winter time. I also talked in part 1 about keeping the mice out of your engine bay, especially during the winter when they're trying to stay warm. So you can use Grandpa Gus rodent repellent, which is a natural repellent, but another cost-effective way is to get a bar of Irish Spring and a cheese grater. And all you do is take your soap, like so, and you just grate it like this around your van or your engine bay, and that will help keep the mice out as well. So, and it smells good. So this is a natural like mosquito, bug, and rodent repellent that works extremely effectively. I actually can't take credit for this hack. I learned it from like, I don't know, a reel on Instagram or something, but it works really well. I picked up this tarp at the dollar store. Well, it was $1.25 now, but it can be used for a variety of things in the desert, including covering up your stuff so the dust doesn't get to it, using it as like ground cover for, you know, as a rug or a tent. You can use it as shade. You can also like hang it from your trunk as shade using some clips, and I will show you how that works right now. So here's the tarp clipped to the back of my trunk. As you can see, because of the wind, it's blowing inward. So what you'll want to do is attach it, either like stake it to the ground or attach it to something so it's coming outward. Of course, this is a Dollar Tree tarp, so it's lightweight and fairly low quality. So you will need to attach it to something, but it does have these little rings in it. So you can make a shade by attaching it to sticks or leaves. You can even hang it on this side of the van and attach it to like the side of your vehicle using a sticky gel pad or tape. You can use anything that you really have, you know, string, rope. You could even attach it to the tree in this case, but I just use these little clips or use some sort of clamps to attach it to the top of the trunk. Since I have plenty of shade from my van right now and this tree, I chose to put down the tarp as some ground cover. As you can see, Winston is a fan of it. You can use anything you have to weigh down the tarp. It's not super windy right now, just a very, very, very slight breeze, if at all. So I'm using my water bottles on it currently, but it works out well for really anything you need it for. Another way you can keep animals and rodents away from your vehicle and your engine bay at night is using lanterns or some sort of lighting. A lot of people like to use LED lighting, but I have these little solar lanterns that work really well, and then they don't require batteries or plug in or anything like that. So this just sits in the sun, charges up, and it's highly compact. Somebody asked if this works for me, and yes, it does. And I think this little lantern was like $5 to $8 on Amazon. So just use whatever you have, but I like to use solar items so I'm not having to waste power or batteries. Another question I got asked after part 1 was what my daily water usage is when I'm camping in the desert and how often I go into town. So honestly, I go into town every other day because I just like to. I like doing stuff in town, dumping my trash. I like driving and going into town. So it's very rare that I don't go into town every other day. Maybe I'll stay in the desert for 2 days without going into town. But again, I just really like to get that movement and get rid of my trash and make sure I have everything I need. So I just enjoy it. And it's really nice and easy in my minivan camper because I'm always pretty much set up and ready to go unless I have my awning out. I do typically leave my campsite set up because I'm often camping around friends. I haven't really had any problems out in Quartzsite or anywhere else in the desert, but it also depends on my camp setup. You know, I will never leave my solar out or anything super expensive like that. You have to be careful with that stuff, of course. In terms of my water usage, it really depends, again, on what I'm doing. Am I cooking? Am I doing dishes? Am I using my portable shower? If I'm doing things like that, I have to, I use a lot more water and then I'll have to refill more frequently. But it really comes down to what you're doing with your water. And I'm super careful about my water use, especially because I've been living in the desert for a long time and we are in a severe drought. So I try not to overuse water, and I'm very careful about setting limitations for myself. When you're camping in the desert with solar, I can guarantee you that you're going to have some dusty solar panels. So I recommend this little duster that I purchased at Dollar General for cleaning off your solar. You can also use a damp cloth that's barely damp or a Swiffer like duster or Swiffer pad. You will absolutely need that to clean your solar panels out here in the desert. Hi, handsome. Wow, that fan's really loud on the rocks. So as you can see, this terrain is just a little bit different than the last campsite we were at. It has smaller pebbles, but the ground still is really dry. So the stakes that you're going to want to use, probably they need to be a little thicker, 8 to 10 inches or so, rather than like the super flimsy 4-inch stakes that a lot of tents typically come with. So definitely invest in some high quality ones. Well, I hope you all enjoyed part 2 of what you need to know about camping in the desert. I am glad we have shade today. There is a little less of a breeze, but still not too bad as long as you have that shade and you are staying hydrated. So if you have any other questions, please let me know in the comments and I will be happy to help. Thank you so much, and we'll see you next time.